And then he said, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills.
I can't catch a break, guys.
Yeah.
Get them the fuck away from me. I can't be around those guys.
People think, oh, well, cleaning your room, that's just a cliche. It's like, yeah, really, eh? Just go ahead and try it.
If people had any idea how powerful sleep is for healing from anything, and the fact that it's free.
My mind is absolutely bulletproof, solid as a rock.
Podcast.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Fighting Fit Show. For the first time in a long while, you have got myself, Stephen, Chris, and Brandon all on the same episode. It's been hard to get everybody's schedules aligned, but here we go. Going forward, it should be the three of us, at least. So how are we doing today, lads?
Top notch. I'm here in my mansion.
All's good.
Going well. In your mansion there. If anyone's watching or listening, Brandon's background is his dream house.
This is it. Manifesting.
So, plan of attack for today, guys. What we're going to be chatting about is some of the latest updates we have happening in the Fighting Fit gym. Then we can see the thing behind me. We've got our first ever Fighting Fit games happening on Saturday. So, if you all remember, we will be twisting your arm in yourself. This is going to be the first of a yearly event that is hopefully going to get bigger and bigger over time. But this week is just all about getting that first event across the line, getting as many people involved as we can, making sure everybody has great fun, giving it lots of prizes, making sure everybody has a good experience. Any questions or feedback or thoughts on the Fighting Fit games, guys?
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait. What is it? What are we doing?
It's going to be a myriad of events. It's going to be one of the day. I've got lots of events in my mind. I have like a rough plan done out, but I'm basically waiting to see again is final numbers. I'll probably say for Wednesday for sign up. So anybody who hasn't signed up by Wednesday, registration will be closed at that point. And then what I'll be doing is I'm probably going to. This is one of the main surprises I'll give it away today. It's going to be running teams, so there will be kind of mini team captains, a draft, kind of make sure each team has people of all different kind of levels and abilities. And then I said there'll be cardio-based events. Like there's probably going to be a run. There's going to be some sort of strength event. There'll be some sort of fitnessy, lactic tolerance type event. There'll be some sort of team event, and then a couple other little mini challenges sprinkled in there for little mini prizes and stuff along the way. Although we do want obviously as many people as possible to take part. If maybe you can't take part due to maybe injury or something like that, feel free to show up. Bring me to kind of be a bit of a spectator on the day. We'll be giving out free drinks and protein shakes and that kind of stuff as well. So it should be a pretty fun morning of activities. It's only going to be say 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. It's going to last 3-4 hours. With a bit of a break in there in between to kind of let people recover and mingle between events. But that's kind of what I have in mind. Anything you guys would add to that?
Prizes. We need prizes, and I think we should bring in donuts. That's what I think.
Yeah, donuts is actually a good shot. I might get some donuts.
Donuts and coffee.
Yeah, you did say there's loads of prizes.
Yeah. Is a high five not a prize?
It is to us.
It is. I mean, it's part of it.
But something more material might be better. But yeah, that's the plan for the Fighting Fit game. So we think we got over 20 people signed up so far, and I said we're shooting for would be ideal. It would have been absolute crazy buzz about the place. So that's kind of what we're working towards. Like everyone else, my go-to strategy is commit to it, jump in with 2 feet, and figure it out as you go.
Yeah.
Build the airplane on the way down. Same what I done with the retreat. That's another kind of big thing as well. The retreat's coming up now. I think I am flying out now in 3 weeks. The first of our retreats is on the 20th. This is again something that we hope to turn into a regular event. This first one is in the Algarve in Portugal. So I think we've got like 18, 20 people signed up so far. So over 2 long weekends, which is incredible. Same thing I've done in April. I tried to get this going earlier in the year. I didn't give myself a lot of time to plan or sell spaces or maybe give people, because obviously people have families and working and things that they have to kind of work around. So I only got a handful of people signed up, and it was maybe 6 weeks out. So I made the decision to reschedule it, swallowed the ego, rescheduled it for now. And now again, everyone's working. Everyone's coming up Millhouse. So first week again, Sam's actually coming on the first week. Now that's kind of recent to Sam or. Nice. In-house travel expert, so she'll be there to hopefully kind of vlog and kind of give her perspective on it. That would be cool. So 2 long weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. People are arriving on the Thursday, leaving on the Sunday. Yoga at sunrise, some advanced goal setting where we're going to basically help people decide where they want to go in life, what's the plan for the next maybe 12 months, 3 years, 5 years? Where do you want to be in the next say 3 to 5 years? And then we're essentially going to reverse engineer success and say, if we want to get there, what do we have to do day to day, week to week, in order to obviously live in balanced life? One of my favorite ways to set goals is to use different categories of, say, health, wealth, career, and contribution, so that you're always can live in a balanced life. You're not neglecting your relationships. It is quite hard. I do it quite regularly. Usually, I would only get a good balance between two and neglect two. But again, it's this life is always going to be this juggling act. I find, especially kind of obviously as kids and stuff come into the mix. Yeah, but that sounds pretty cool. And then hopefully, Chris, you're going to come out after the boxing. Chris is going to come out for the second weekend. The hardest part for us, isn't it? We're kind of working together. Is it's hard to kind of get loads of kind of time off for this kind of stuff. Usually, one person always has to stay behind, and in this situation, it's going to be Brandon. Whereas Chris missed out on the wee family holiday to Dunrell there. But yeah, Chris is going to be coming out on the 30th after the boxing. I think that's another actually cool thing we could talk about. Chris, how you're feeling for the championships coming up in a couple of weeks. But that's why Chris couldn't. Chris was supposed to get Sam out for the first weekend, Chris out for the second weekend, so we had an extra pair of hands, another FF member to kind of come out and experience it, take part in the good vibes. But you're going to come out on the 30th when it's all over, because we still have a couple of days after to kind of celebrate and
hopefully I'll be Irish champion at that point.
Yes. So that could be a good opportunity to segue. Tell anyone who doesn't know what the plan is for this year, what yourself in boxing.
So goal is to enter the Irish 75 kilos and win it. Right now, I am cutting. I built my way up to 80 kilos this year. I was actually like 82 at my heaviest, through like strength training and eating. And now I am in the process of cutting. So I'm basically using OMAD. I'm trying to have steak and lettuce, or not lettuce, salad, to try and cut my weight down. It's working, but it's a grind. I'm allowed protein shakes post-workout as well. So don't know if that counts as OMAD, but massive calorie reduction and lots of water, lots of caffeine. So what is your do you know what your overall calories are? It's something like 1,200 at the moment.
1,200.
High performance athlete, everybody. 1,200 calories. That's
1,200 calories.
I would say I am getting lighter. I am getting leaner, and it's not like I don't feel like a massive lack of energy. Like today, I thought I would have a massive reduction in strength. Since I hit a 210 deadlift there about a month ago, and now I'm sitting at like 78 kilos, and I hit 205 this morning, so I'm lighter, way less calories, and this was after doing a boxing workout as well. So like I haven't lost much strength. I don't feel super hungry all the time. Just when my ghrelin spikes, obviously I get a little bit miserable. I'm like, I want to eat, but that's the way it is.
Yeah,
it's not too bad.
Yeah, I do feel like that is a bit of a hack, like kind of like intermittent fasting. If you are going to go kind of super low calories, like intermittent fasting, I feel is one of the best ways to do it, because once your body gets into say a ketonic state of ketosis, your energy levels are going to be fairly consistent. Like you shouldn't have massive peaks and lows. And then for me, if I'm doing that kind of strategy as well, it means that when you do eat, you get to eat a nice big meal, so you're not kind of spreading your 1,200 calories out over say three meals and a couple of snacks where feels like you're
I find that's really hard to do. I find the one big meal, I don't know what it is, but there's something about that feeling of being full. I really like it. So like I'll take a picture and post on my Instagram later of the steak, and then like it's steak, and then it's a big bowl of salad, like it's a big bowl. So it's like, but it works out only like 30 or 40 calories. It's something stupid, like it's ridiculously light on calories and then balsamic vinegar. So it's steak and leaves, and I'm good to go. It's really cool. Nice. I find I'm stuffed after it.
Yeah, no, I said I must admit, that might actually could be a topic for a future podcast, but it's kind of been come back in my consciousness over the last couple of months, like kind of just fasting and stuff in general, as more so as a health and longevity tool. Like I feel like nobody really could dispute the fact that fasting is actually healthy, because obviously there's a lot of talk right now about supply chains and all this kind of stuff happening with the farmers, and I'm not sure how kind of aware people are of all that stuff, but it is pretty serious, to be honest. They're talking about famines and everything in the next couple of years, or not even in the next 6 months, even or less. I think there's 350 million people, according to the World Bank, put into a state of food insecurity, meaning that that their next meal is not necessarily reliable, which is quite dangerous. But I was thinking, if that happened to the Western world, and say people were forced to fast, say for several days at a time, I was thinking, apart from obviously the for want of a better word, say the weak and feeble, most people, like most people would actually come out of it healthier. Most people, if they didn't eat for a couple of days, would actually be healthier, contrary to popular belief. Mike and I honestly, like the filter I put everything through is like everything popular is wrong. I think it was like Oscar Wilde or somebody said, I can't remember. But everything popular is wrong. So there's kind of like a default state. Like if you told somebody you're fasting, like the automatic reaction is, oh my God, that can't be good for you. You know,
I can't believe you're doing that.
Then that's like, okay. Then I kind of put up my laptop and I start doing a bit of research, and I'm like, okay, yeah, no, obviously because it's a popular opinion, it's probably wrong. And that's maybe I'm just obviously a little bit of a.
There is also school thought though that like just even calorie restriction, just like reducing your calories, not even like reduction. If you reduce calories, like it's good for you. Most people overconsume, especially in today's society. We just eat.
But that is 100% legitimate. I can't quote the study, but it's when you study like what was it, like Omaha in Japan, and I think it's somewhere in Italy, somewhere in the Mediterranean. These people were like, they have like a massively high portion of centurions, like people who live to 100 or more. One of the things that the study is like, in time you live longer. Like there's a massive correlation. I'm not sure if it would be considered a causation, but people who eat less live longer. Genuinely, like 100%. Like I feel like an easy way to think of it might be you only have a certain amount of miles on the clock on the internal system, and once you pump so much stuff, some people pump in 20 years what other people pump in 50 years through their digestive system. You know, the body just can only process so much without getting a service or an MOT, and this seems to be what fasting and taking breaks from food does. The process of autophagy. I can't remember. I actually watched a video last night. The guy that won the Nobel Prize for discovering autophagy, or not discovering it, but he kind of really conceptualize it or kind of package it in a nice way that kind of people were able to understand. But this process of autophagy means self-eating. So it's basically a process in which within your cells, all of the junk to turn that into energy. So it's a way that your body, takes all the crap in the cells and kind of cleans it. It's like a big spring clean for your body. And it's like most people don't get that because the popular belief is from first thing you get up in the morning, put something in your mouth, and every hour or two after that, you're putting something in your mouth until you go to bed. So the body really never gets that opportunity. And I'm pretty sure, I feel like it's 72 hours is kind of the 72-hour fast would be the optimal amount. I think that's 72 hours is the point at which, the law of diminishing returns really starts to kick in. So whereas like, you might start losing maybe a concerning amount of muscle and stuff like that if you're an athlete. But up to that point, it seems to be all health benefits, so like the intensity, and I'm pretty sure like something like your body produces more white blood cells and like can massively improve your immune system. Again, it's been a good while since I've looked at it or kind of read it, so I don't kind of quote me on any of that. But if anyone is interested in fasting in general as a tool for health, I do think it is, and it's something that maybe I would love to have a bit of a deep dive with you guys maybe at a later point.
One of the things I think is really beneficial from fasting, even though we're not really talking about it, is one of the benefits I think is that like it breaks food addiction. It breaks like a food cycle and gives you it challenges the belief that you need to eat all the time, and then it also like stops you from like habitually grazing, and then you realize that you don't really need to do that anymore. So you don't need to actually like constantly have some food, and it gives you the ability to just like sort of resist and say no. It gives you that sort of space to just be like, I don't really need it, I'm fine. It lets you recognize hunger cues for real hunger cues rather than just like habitually eating. So like when you're actually hungry, you feel it and you notice it. It's very, very different to just when you walk into the kitchen, you open the fridge just out of habit. So it's good at breaking that cycle.
Yeah, 100%. I remember I did a long stint of fasting, and that was my exact experience. It was that breaking the cycle of eating and needing food constantly, whereas you realize you don't need it, you want it. And also my favorite part about fasting was I would consider myself a little bit of a foodie. Now that doesn't mean I'm good at cooking or anything, but I really just like people who do food well, right? And the fantasies that would play in my head in regards to food, it was just food just became way more interesting. Like I found myself like, if we're making spaghetti bolognese or chicken tikka or something that's just been on the menu for too long, I just kind of find myself very bored with it. But like if I was fasting, that would never be the case. Like it would be, I can't wait, like really salivating at the thoughts of it, banana for lunch, a juicy apple, fresh, like crispy lettuce leaves, like things become a lot more interesting because you're actually hungry, and that sincere hunger is like, it's an interesting thing, because we're nearly prisoners to constantly jumping on and off this train, and we never get a chance to experience, abstinence from food. And they say like abstaining from anything makes you appreciate a little bit more. Absence makes the heart go fonder. And some people have a very bad relationship with food, and it's very easy to not appreciate a bloody donut. I got to the stage loads of times where it's like, you're eating what would be 500 years ago the pinnacle of Flavor Town and the pinnacle of what is possible. Like what is it? All the businesses are looking to design the perfect bliss point, I think is what they call it. Yeah. So where you create a food item that just the right amount of salt, the right amount of fat, that just in your mouth is just this firework explosion to your senses. And so we've come to the point where that's normal. And that's not good for you.
Yeah. Definitely not. It makes broccoli seem very unappealing. What do you actually think is the nicest donut place? Krispy Kreme, Dunkin' Donuts, Boston Donuts. What's the best one?
Krispy Kreme is officially the best, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd go with that.
What's the best? What's the best one?
The glaze, the simple ones, just the simple glaze.
So, like the simple glaze is like, the secondary option. No,
you think so? Yeah, it isn't. It isn't. I used to be kind of extravagant. I buy a big box of all these kind of flavored donuts, but I feel like there's just too much going on. There's too much happening. In a lot of them.
Man, if you buy a box of 12 and you've got 12 different flavors, like there's the main ones that you go for. There's the Biscoff. There's the like Kinder. What other ones is there? There's the white chocolate one.
Some sort of Nutella one.
Yeah, I feel like the Nutella is kind of meh compared to like the other ones, like because the Nutella is kind of thick or something like that inside it. But the Biscoff, I think, hands down, is the best.
Listen, right? There's some versions of the Krispy Kreme donut that are just like the caramel is pretty much just a caramel glaze. There's the strawberry, which is a strawberry glaze. So there's variations on the glaze that are.
I'm very hungry.
Yeah, well, this is it. Enjoy your calorie deficit, Chris. How's them 1,200 calories treating you?
Beautiful.
Yeah, and then again, and so because the three of us made a little bit of quite a short comeback there a couple of months ago, and Chris is the only one that managed to kind of stick it out. I kind of lost my desire once I realized that I couldn't compete. And I'm in Portugal when the championships are on, so that kind of I was like, there's no point. But like how you feel? Like you feeling confident? You feel as good as you've ever been. You're sharp as you've ever been. Obviously, your last foray into boxing was what? 3-4 years ago,
2019.
But so how are you feeling? You're feeling you're going to do pretty well. You're going to do at least as good as the last time, I'm sure.
So I feel really fit. Sharpness is like I'm getting there. I feel like I'm getting sharper and sharper. I've been watching myself because I gained so much weight. I felt really heavy. As I'm losing the weight, I'm starting to feel lighter and lighter. Like there's a big difference between 82 kilos and 78 kilos. Like a big fucking difference. And there's going to be probably a similar difference between 78 and 75. I do feel a lot bouncier. I was on the bags earlier today. I was doing a little bit of shadow boxing, skipping, all that jazz, and my ability to keep a good pace is really good. And what I think is really, really cool is that I'm retaining like a lot of my strength as well, which is good. And then how I feel like I'm still nervous. Like I get nervous before every competition, but I can't wait to see what I do. I just can't wait to take it and compete and see how I do against someone else. Especially since I've been training so hard for the last year. The big thing that I'm looking forward to is just going in and just being like I don't think there's going to be anyone as strong as me, which is like a really, really good match. Like there's no one going to push me around. There's no one going to I'm not sure if anyone knows, but like boxers tend to be really, really skinny and really, really light and really, really wiry, and that is not me at the moment. Like
the only thing I would say on that is. You could always get one fecker who's just cut a severe amount of weight, like kind of like you are. Like I remember Chris. I remember Stephen. Do you remember one of my Lancers fight? I literally got into a ring, and some fella stood across me, and he honestly looked like he was 4 weight class above me. Like I think his name was Turles Moran, and so far as I know, the next year he fought at 81 kg or 91 kg plus, and we were fighting at 67 or 64 or something. I was like, is this the wrong fucking guy? I was like, what is going on here? There's absolutely no way I'm fighting this fella. And it was, and then we met in the middle of the ring. I was like, are you joking me? I was like, this is ridiculous.
So that's the impression I'm looking to get.
What is that?
That's the impression I'm looking to get.
Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. Spent too long in the sauna, but yeah, 100%, Chris, exactly. So that would be fantastic if that gets to you. I mean, because I would say I was maybe a better boxer than him, but he wore me down just by sheer
physicality.
size. Yeah, it's
that's the thing. Like I don't know if there's any other boxers in the championships that are going to be deadlifting 210 kilos. I don't think so. Especially at 75.
Because when you look at it objectively, like your numbers are well above average. You're in the advanced to elite category in all of your strength and fitness metrics as far as I know.
I don't know if any other boxer in the country is going to have as detailed and as a consistent powerlifting and strength conditioning program done and behind them as you do.
Yeah, which is really cool. But the main thing is applying it.
I wish I was going to be here so I could actually see the fights live.
But then the next question is obviously the main thing is like, how are you up to scratch with the actual skill itself?
Yeah, so I did 12 rounds with Jerry there the other morning, and as I was doing the pads with him, like it was just like it was really cool because I got to see, like, I started off so clunky, but I could feel like like old motor patterns just sort of switching on, so like it'll be like a little bit clunky. I'll be like, oh, I remember that, and then I put my own little sort of thing into it, and then like as the rounds went on and on and on, I got more and more and more comfortable, and the sharpness started coming back. So I have another couple of weeks of basic pad work, and it'll just all be, instead of it being this slog sort of work, it's all about power, explosiveness, building everything up, and then like literally the week before the fight, it'll all be like just skill, just fucking getting everything nice and sharp. So I'm excited. Like the cool thing about it is that when I train it like that, there I can just go for days, like just keep going, which is really, really cool. My athleticism is probably going to carry me through, I hope.
That's another thing. I'm not sure if you're aware of with intermittent fasting. There's alleged, I remember Dr. Rhonda Patrick talking about it, like a noticeable endurance pump.
Mm-hmm. But drop in power.
Could be, possibly.
That's one of the things that I noticed when I was fasting the last time.
That's the trade-off.
Because I did a 5-day fast, and I remember we were doing it was like the 4th day or the 3rd day or something like that there, and we were doing high intensity intervals.
but remember that's long-term fasting. This is intermittent fasting.
All right. Yeah, well,
that's what I'm saying. So hopefully there shouldn't be too much loss in power from just intermittent fasting.
Well, once I weigh in, like it's not going to be fasting anymore, Joe. So I'll probably have to weigh in twice.
You'll make weight a couple of days before the deadline anyway.
But so hopefully I won't need to cut too much, or not cut too much, like be too restricted going into the ring, because
but cutting for anyone who doesn't know is a big part of it. I said, like, you can give yourself a significant advantage by cutting weight and being a bigger athlete in a lower category. It does definitely give an advantage. So yeah, I can't wait to see how it all turns out to record the fights. So we said hopefully Brandon at least gets to go to a few of them. Then trying to manage work obviously is going to be harder, but we'll do what we can. Exciting times ahead.
We'll see if we can get.
How do you guys think I'm going to do?
I think you're going to win. I feel like I feel like you're going to win, bar, that there's some fucking golden kid coming up, that might just have been top of the circuit now for 5-10 years and just maybe a little bit more match fit than you are. I think that's the only thing that'll beat you. I feel like you will be the best athlete in the category, be able to beat everybody, unless there's somebody else like Dustin there, like somebody who's been competing on the international stage at a high level for a couple of years. They might just outpoint you or something like that. But I feel like you will definitely be the best athlete in the category. You've got a lot more training on your belt than said the last time you entered at this weight class. You got to the final, and with on what, a couple of weeks training. Now you've got a good training camp under your belt.
A couple of weeks training, and I was stepping up weight class. I was like 73, weighing in every day.
Yeah. And that
was me full.
Yeah. And now you're different. Now you're just a different athlete altogether. And again, because you've been doing the boxing program for so long, I feel like your mind is still sharp in terms of kind of tactical and technical awareness. So it's interesting. But that's the cool thing about boxing, though. Anything can happen. But I wouldn't be betting against you anyway.
All I'm saying is I had a big fight against the guy who was going around the international circuit for a while, and thinking back to that experience, like I've learned so much from that experience. Like getting beat by him changed how I thought about boxing. Like, because it was like just absolutely shots coming from nowhere, head up, fight stopped. That was literally the most learning I ever did in a fight. And I would say if I fought him now again, the improvement that there would have been just from having that fight significant. And I feel like the fact that you have the Gabriel Dawson fight behind you is like, now you understand and you've trained with that and you understand that and tuck that into your drills. And I feel like even if you came up against someone like him again, I feel like now you'd have a significant jump up on that. Like, I really have a fucking very high hopes for you this tournament. And again, I think that if you are beat, I think it's going to be a very tight fight, and he's going to have to work his fucking hole off for it.
Yeah, that's one of you be guaranteed that you're going to, like, anybody that gets in the ring is going to be dragged into the trenches, and they better be able to fight in the trenches, otherwise they're not going to be able to compete. I feel like that's going to be your secret weapon. Instead, your strength and conditioning.
I think if anybody beats you, I think they fucking deserve it. That's what I think.
Yeah. No, it's exciting times ahead. And then what else do we have to talk about then, guys? We still got we plugged the Fine Fit Games, plugged the retreat, we plugged Chris's boxing. Is there anything else that's happening? There must be done deadlifts today. We've got a lot of new PBs.
Yeah.
With our deadlifts. Let me have a look. I'm going to pull up the wee summary grid here. Any major comments? I know Matt's got a new PB today. I was at the session.
Well, the way, just so anyone who's not doing who doesn't go to Fight and Fit won't really know what's going on. But for the last 4 weeks, this is week number 5. We've been training our deadlift at least once a week. Going from the week 1 was going 5 reps. Week 2 was going 4. Week 3 was going 3. Or week 3 was going 3. Week 4 is going 2. And then this week 5 testing going for the big 1RMs. For anyone who's on the lower levels, don't be going for 1RMs. They'll be going for 8RMs and 5RMs. But as you start building into the higher levels, like, it's all going for that one big one.
RM is rep max. So
yeah.
1RM, 5RM, 8RM is rep max. I know that seems self-explanatory, but somebody today asked me what a PB was, and I was like, all right, okay, maybe we should explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, get in touch with the lingo.
This is it. So PB is personal best, not peanut butter. All right.
And you mentioned Paul Halfpenny, one of our best athletes. He broke the 200 kilo mark today with his deadlift.
Yeah, so Paul Halfpenny is just fucking absolute savage. There he told me when he first came in, I think he was deadlifting 140, something like that there, 140, 150 maybe. He was pretty strong coming in. And then
he's a big dude. He's a big athlete.
Yeah, I think he's 84, 85 kilos now. He's pretty big. And he's just an absolute savage. Anything you tell him to do, he just does it as hard as he bloody can. Like, he's tough, mentally tough, physically tough.
Or even if you tell him not to do it that hard, he'll do it that hard anyway.
Yeah, no. But he's one of those people where you're like, I don't think he can do it, and he's like, we'll see. He's like, I'll show you.
Yeah. Not even we'll see. It's watch this.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you mentioned that there's only four people in the gym that have broke the 200 kilo mark.
Yep. So that's me. That's Peter. That is Paul, and then Mark. What's Mark's second name, Brian?
In fairness to Mark could do it when he walked in.
Yeah. Mark is
showed up 200 kg ready. He's a big guy.
He's a big dude. He's like 6 foot. He must be. Is he 120 kilos, something like that?
Big dude, anyway. Big strong guy.
Yeah. I know, because one of the things, guys, people need to understand, especially with the deadlift as well, is that it is a cantilever movement. So mass moves mass. So the bigger the athletes, the more weight you can naturally move. So like one of the best ways to kind of measure strength gains, I find anyway, is obviously the weight to body weight ratio. Like are you lifting 1.5 times, 2 times, 2.5 times your body weight? Like an elite is, would I be right in saying an elite standard for, well, maybe not elite, but an advanced standard for deadlift would be 2.5 times body weight? Would that be would that be too much?
So
3.5 times body weight.
75. So say if you're 75 kilos, you're doing 150 would be double body weight. 1.5 then would be, say, like what, 185, 190 would be considered.
So 2.5 would be 187. And if you're 75 kilos, it would be 187.5 kilos.
Yeah.
So about 5 kilo away.
So what am I? Actually, let me see, because I'm 78. Let's see. 210 divided by
210 is divided by 78, yeah.
2.69. So 2.7.
2.7 times your
body
weight.
I think 3 times your body weight is like elite.
Yeah. I'd say 2.5 would be advanced, 3 times would be elite, I'm sure.
Peter's going for a 500 pounds soon. A 500 pound deadlift. That's 225, something like that.
That's a lot of weight.
That's 500 pounds. I buy, like, when you start just lifting consistently, like, the weights just get heavier. They just get heavier and heavier and heavier, and it's like you just have the ability to do it every time. Like when I did my 210, I didn't think I was going to do it. I didn't even expect to do it that night, and I just did it. It was it's weird.
I do find consistency with weight training really obviously good. Like I feel like people kind of overtalk it. It's like good form obviously is important and like proper movement mechanics. Some people like just need to do the extra work because they're just not in a good position or they're loading something in a way that shouldn't be loaded. But once you get into a good position, like you're fairly consistent with it, over a period of 6 weeks, if you really are pushing hard, like you'll get significant results.
The way I view it is that strength is a skill, and it's like the more you practice it, the better you get. That's literally the way it works. Like if you just practice, you get stronger. So like 90%, one of the things I noticed about coaching people through the beginning part of it, people going from yellows to oranges to blues, is like 90% of it is coordination and like getting used to producing more force. Like not necessarily getting stronger, just getting used to having the confidence to move more and more weight safely. And
I found just putting people in a good position is like, well, just like if I can get you in a good position and tell you go, you're like and then if needed, like I said, if they are the kind of person who just doesn't dig that deep, just not used to producing a kind of strength, you just have to scream at them, like like you have to amp them up and get them to that place. But once you're in a good position, and
why do you think that is? Why do you think like the emotional part of it, like because I one of the things that happened to me this morning, I got 205 this morning. I was going to go for 210. I went for 210, and then because like the class sort of split up and I was still building my weights and I was sort of on my own, I just sort of lost the oomph. And if there's like loads of people around you, there's all that hype and all that jazz, it just forces you to get that little bit more behind it.
I know I seen I think Jay Holland or maybe it was his younger brother was competing there, and I seen the whole setup for it, and it's just like it just screams push as hard as you can, like a whole team of people there cheering you on, the lights, your name, your fucking picture. Here we go, it's your moment.
Yeah. Like that's what it's like training with them. That's what it's like training with them as well. It's cool. It's really cool.
It is.
Actually, I've Kevin scheduled for a call later on this afternoon, and Scott's coming in to do a free trial of the U program.
Oh, happy days!
That's cool.
Unreal. That's actually deadly.
For talk's sake, I was coaching somebody today. on a deadlift, and they literally just as they went to lift, the bar pushed out an inch, and it just went out an inch away from them, and they didn't get it. And then to them, they didn't notice that, so they were like, "Oh, I can't lift this weight," and it's like, no. It rolled away. Pull it back, set it tight, and pull again, and it goes up. And so the thing is, obviously, with these lifts, and because you're obviously working at the edge of your potential, is like the little things really, really add up. Like 2 or 3 little things gone wrong, that will make or break your lift. One thing at your absolute PB will make it, because you're on a knife's edge anyway. It's like if it's a real PB, it's like that's just about all you can do and no more. If you've set yourself up right and you've built your session right, it's like that's where you're at. Brilliant stuff. So we're not there plus an inch. We're not there plus, you can afford an extra kilo when you're back there. It's like we're there and no more. Get it all tight. And so, or it's like, it's not get it all there, but be thinking about your lunch. It's like, get it all there and focus on the lift. Everything else, we need your max capacity for this. And that's one thing I absolutely loved about Jim O'Neill in my corner. Is like, he would, and something I found, I became quite good at doing with the white collar. Like, I could just amp these people up to where it's like, we're going or we're dying. It's like, and to be able to get people in that headspace is so important for physical fitness. And obviously, maybe it's hard to be there every day, but it's so important for digging deep and pulling it out of you.
Absolutely.
It's all about really breaking limiting beliefs, isn't it? Like what people are actually capable of. How far people can actually push. They just have maybe a limited life experience of kind of being outside the comfort zone in that capacity, that they're just not aware of what they can do. So that their wall might be here at 60 kilos, but like literally without doing any more training, just kind of believing in yourself, and obviously with good technique and good coaching, you could add,
but not 20% onto that lift. Not even that. What about the big boys, right?
If you genuine with all your force and all your might.
But what about the big boys, right? Who take shitloads of caffeine and sniffing salts because they know I can't even with the music, I can't get myself there. Like, we just need. Sometimes, like, to get that little bit more, you just need something else. And sometimes, like Chris said, it's the audience. Sometimes it's, maybe it is fucking smelling salts. Maybe it is that song. But it's like sometimes even when with all the will in the world, you can't get there. That's why, like, for me, like, I really want to be as fit as I possibly can and to be successful long term in my fitness journey and really make a sustainable, impressive progress over the course of the year. And I can still show up to the gym and just feel like, And so I was like, I know I put David Goggins in my ears and it kind of gets me in that state, but like sometimes just getting there yourself is just ridiculously hard. So, getting an understanding for what gets you to that place, I think is so important as well, because it's not just as easy as want it more. Sometimes you can't just will it. Like I'm sure with all the will in the world, Chris, for 210, you wanted that atmosphere to be there, but it just wasn't there. So it's just like, it doesn't seem like it's in your control sometimes, I feel.
Well, one of the things as well that happens is like, when you have that thing around you and you push, it's like if something, like one of the things that happened, like went to pull, the bar went, and then like took all the slack out of the bar was bending, trying to pull it, and then my hips shot up. Now when my hips shot up, I was like, oh, back comes in here, careful, no, definitely not going to do this, because I don't want to put anything at risk, and you have that doubt and all that jazz as well, and fatigue and all that jazz. Like when you're doing strength training, you're after lifting, your nervous system can get shot. Like it can just like it takes all of the will in the world. It's like a battery or like a capacitor, it fires and it like needs time to build back up.
But sometimes again, like I found myself, like even like if I went, let's say 50, 60, 70 on cleans or snatches or something, and then I go for my PB and I miss it, I was like, oh fuck, like I couldn't even just straight away, like I didn't even get the lift. I couldn't even go back and do the last lift that I did, because I am just mentally I'm just burnt out now.
Yeah, that's what one of the things about your nervous system getting tired is that like it feels like frustration, feels like or like just like that's what it feels like.
Yeah, 100%. That's what it feels like.
That's why one of the things I feel is one of the massive benefits of group training, like training, as you said, like I feel like the audience is important. I feel like I perform better with an audience, like versus kind of doing yourself. When you're doing yourself, I feel like when I'm training by myself, I feel like I take exceptionally long breaks. I take long breaks between sets.
That's why I love strength training. But one of the ways you can make someone start working harder is you just go, and then like just start training harder. That's it.
Yeah.
Or me and Chris, when everybody had the horror monitors, me and Chris would play a wee game. We were coaching back in the old place. We were coaching together, and Chris would be like, "Brandon, watch this," and he'd walk over to some client and just stand beside them, and you just see their heart rate just climbing up, and then he'd like walk away, and start going back there, and he'd walk beside somebody else, and their heart rate would just start climbing up. And it's just like it is. There is studies done on that. Just the effect of the observer.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, that was actually hilarious. That is something that I feel like I would go through a little bit of a renaissance mission and bring back the heart rate monitors. Yeah, I agree. I think it's cool. Obviously, with COVID and stuff, we kind of borrowing the monitors and stuff didn't really work. It wasn't an option. I'm not sure I might go back to it now. Ideally, the best case scenario is people kind of buy their own. It's a great bit of kit, something cool to add to the gym bag, or it's going to help you get a lot more out of your sessions. Just makes you work when you're on the TV and everyone can see, especially the coach can see how hard you're working. If it's a, obviously not necessarily for all the exercise, but if it's a condition type thing and something where you should be kind of training with high intensity, like, there's a big difference between 80% and 90% in terms of effort, but also making sure that you're training the right energy system as well. So yeah, I think it's handy as well, like, especially new people get to know each other's names. I think there's also some other benefits to it as well.
And also the big thing as well is like it's just another metric. Like it's just nice for like, especially for like a newbie. It's like doing skipping. Like skipping indefinitely or doing jumping jacks. It's like no, I can take my focus on my heart rate, because fair enough, it is a little bit gimmicky, but I mean like it's a very effective gimmick. Like it's fucking class. Who doesn't want to see that? Like if you had said to me back in the day, do you want to see your heart rate in your training? I was like, obviously, get that up on the screen. It's so cool. Like it is so cool to have your heart rate
100%
available. Like it's such a cool technology. It's unreal.
Yeah, and again, there is a lot of good research that shows like training at the appropriate heart rate zone is the most optimal or the most efficient way to train. Train at the appropriate intensity is important. And also, is heart rate the best way to measure appropriate intensity for all things? Like it's not definitely the best way to measure appropriate intensity for strength training, but for kind of more conditioning type activities, high intensity interval training, that kind of stuff, it can be a very, very useful.
Sometimes it can even be a detriment in strength training because you get people walking away and they're feeling disappointed. Yes. It's like because
I didn't burn a lot of calories.
Yeah, that's one of my pet peeves. That's one of my, like, as a coach, I'm like, look, if you knew what I knew, you'd be really happy with that workout.
I know
but you don't have to be absolutely wrecked from a workout.
Yeah, and not even another one is like you don't necessarily have to be sweaty. You don't have to necessarily even be sweating that much, especially again if it's strength focused. And strength training is one of the most important things when it comes to longevity, maintaining muscle mass and maintaining strength through life. There's a direct correlation between people who maintain strength and people who get sick. People who get strong, it's very hard to kill strong people. as a mantra for life. So try and stay strong for as long as you can. I think there was something else. I think it was, can't remember, it was on a podcast, something that said like the top percent of runners, like they practically don't get sick at all. Like they don't die. They don't die young anyway. The top, I think maybe the top 10% of runners, people that have a certain output when it comes to cardiovascular performance, rarely die young. So that's just something to be mindful of. Anything else you want to go on?
Yeah, what about this for another renaissance? I was thinking about this the other day because I was doing a little bit of my own training. I was doing it with some PTs, circuits. Obviously, I know we do circuits on Friday, but even just as some of the classes, structuring some of the workouts that we do now, same style, but just circuit style. I don't know. I just find like now that COVID's over, just that I just love circuits. I just love it. They go, oh, we're all in this together. I don't know. I just love circuits now again. I'm feeling them.
Yeah, no, I agree. If anyone's listening, let us know. What is your favorite kind of workout? What do you like the most? What do you like the least? What would you like to see more of? What would you like to see less of? As I said, for us, kind of, especially Chris, obviously doing the program, it's obviously, first off, it's going to be hard to keep everybody happy because people kind of like
keep everyone happy.
We're trying to make sure that that the workouts are as effective as possible in terms of kind of keeping people strong and fit, and also helping people with their body transformations. But as we say regularly, having fun is the most important part. Like, if people aren't having fun, they're not going to stick it, and you're going to lose them. Our goal is to keep people over the long term, so we can really kind of make long term sustainable change. So if you have any feedback, we obviously
I think it's way better for you to do 12 weeks, or rather than do 12 weeks of the most optimized strength program ever, just to do body weight work that you enjoy, for 12 years is obviously going to, so it's like, all right, you did 12 weeks. That's fantastic. You didn't enjoy it. All right. Okay. Well, that's not going to be that beneficial to you long term. Somebody just doing air squats every day for 12 years. It's obviously going to be a better nick. So this is it. Sustainability is key. Nutrition and exercise.
You have to enjoy it.
Yeah, and this is why people quit. There's a lot of people out there that only train when they want to lose weight. And again, I've been guilty of this in the past, maybe not so much in the last couple of years. But only really training when you're thinking that, kind of like, even if I'm getting fat, I'm still going to train. Just to kind of keep up training at least 3 days a week, no matter what. Whether my diet's good or not. Whereas that's the problem. It's always a double-edged sword for a lot of people. It's like when they're not training or when they're not dieting, those sorts of things. When they're not dieting, they're not training. If you at least trained when you weren't dieting, at least you could build muscle. At least you could get stronger. At least you could still get something out of it. You could build your metabolism up. So when
here's one
already commit to nutrition.
One that I've had this year is dieting when I'm not training. Like, I haven't been able to really do much weight training, and I haven't been and I was somebody who only ever trained to get fit. So my fitness would come in big peaks and big valleys. Like, I just wouldn't be fit for periods of time, and then I'd be, super fit, and then it was that on and off. And I nearly found that was worse. That was worse for me. And so it's like one thing I started. It's like I just try and keep that nutrition strategy strong. Like, and again, it's not a void of sugar or snacks or anything like that, but it's just like, protein's consistent. Like, protein and fruits and vegetables are just constantly in my diet. And like I said, the body fat has fluctuated high, it's fluctuated low. But
Brandon, remember you just not like vegetables?
Yeah, I do. That's actually back to, I was talking to somebody yesterday, was the intermittent fasting really opened my eyes. Like, I really put my onions on my first bit of food when I was fasting, salad on my first bit of food when I was fasting. Because I was looking there recently enough through my stories of that OMAD, and it was all shit food. Like, I would not post that now. I'm looking back, I'm ashamed at the shite that I was eating. Like, it really was terrible. And now if I was doing it, I'd do it completely different. I must actually do it again just for the lols. But like, now it would be so much more balanced, because before, like I said, I really didn't like vegetables. And now I'll eat salad, I'll eat onions, I'll eat, plenty of fruits, lots of different varieties, smoothies, all that kind of stuff. Before, like, my palate was just so sensitive. I was one of the people who eat like a boiled carrot and start gagging. Like, it's really, really shitty stuff. But again, that's a testament. Anybody who thinks he can't like vegetables, the same thing as people who think they can't run or can't do deadlifts. It's like, you just have to start at grassroots and build your way there.
There's a cool strategy for trying to implement more vegetables, and it's like, what do you want? What are you willing to do, and what will you actually do? Want, willing, and will do. So create a list, 3 different, or get a page, write down what do you want to do, what are you willing to do, and then what will you actually do. So, like, all the vegetables that you want to be able to eat, and then all the ones that you actually want to eat, and then all the ones that you'll be actually willing to eat.
And then you can give yourself a cop-out. Vegetables you'll never eat, so that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. The ones that the ones that you won't eat as well. That's an important part. So like the ones you absolutely do not want to eat at all, like make sure you know what they are and like give yourself permission not to like them. I actually called one of the clients the other morning, and he was finding it real hard. He's like, oh, I just don't like vegetables. It turns out like he really likes carrots, he likes broccoli, he likes Brussels sprouts. It's just he didn't like any of the main ones, which was like I just thought was like I was like if you don't like them, you don't have to eat them. Like you don't like tomatoes. I hate tomatoes. Like I never eat tomatoes. Mushrooms, never eat mushrooms. Like you don't have to eat them if you don't want to.
They're my two favorites.
I was just going to say.
I love tomatoes. Nothing why I love it. Like in Strandfield, scrambled eggs with mushrooms and tomatoes is like one of my favorite meals.
Literally the worst thing on the planet.
Really, yeah. Nobody's in a massive rush, Arctic. There's just one more thing I want to share before we shoot off, just in terms of kind of talking about Renaissance. I know I was kind of mentioning earlier on, like two of the big kind of focuses this week and next week is obviously one is going to be the Fight and Fit Games, because I said it's our first ever Fight and Fit Games. Then we have the space to actually run an event like this. We're buzzing for. We can't wait. So if you're a member, do get signed up ASAP. I said I will be closing registration on Wednesday, so we can kind of just make the best plan possible with the knowing what kind of numbers we have, so we can kind of split people up into teams and that kind of fun stuff. But the last one is one of the key things that we've kind of moved from away, because we touched on the heart rate training, was the weigh-ins and kind of the regularity of the weigh-ins, and even the way the workouts are a little bit longer. It's a little bit harder for us to kind of catch people to do weigh-ins. But kind of obviously during COVID, we kind of moved towards more of a trust-based system, a self-reporting based system. But one of the things we will be doing over the next while, so this is kind of just one of the first of many warnings. Every week the pressure will increase for compliance for people who have weight loss goals to get them weigh-ins done very regularly. And it also correlates what I was saying earlier on about, everything popular is wrong. And that brings you on to the thing where it's like, people say like weighing yourself is not good or not healthy. Like we shouldn't be weighing ourselves regularly. But remember, it's not the scales, it's the story we have about what the scales means that is the problem, because research actually shows people who weigh in regularly lose more weight and keep the weight off longer. So I've just pulled up, for anyone who's listening and not watching, I've just pulled up an article here from WebMD, which is one of the best sources on the internet for this type of stuff, which kind of basically compiles all the data and all the studies. And basically there was a 2-year university study that found that tracking results of daily weight checks on a chart help people lose weight and keep it off. People who lost weight with this approach in the first year maintained that weight loss throughout the second year, the researcher said. That result is significant because previous studies have shown that about 40% of weight loss is regained within a year and nearly 100% is regained within 5 years. Whereas with this approach, most people kept the weight off during that second year. This approach, again, forces you to be aware of the connection between eating and your weight. It used to be taught that you shouldn't weigh yourself in daily, and this is just the reverse. So it's showing the opposite of the common belief. It seems to work better for men than women for reasons we can't figure yet. And again, I would say as a generalization, it's because I feel like women have more negative stories relating to the weight loss. But again, obviously when we do this, we don't just do weight loss. We do body stats, and a body stats check includes weight, body fat measurements, say inches, progress photos. So we've got more context to kind of what that weigh-in means. But the weigh-ins should be like your red flag. It's like, listen, it's the easiest thing to measure. If you measure quite regularly, you get to understand your natural weight fluctuations. When you stand on the scales, feel like you're doing everything right, it's not going down, then that's an opportunity to have a look at your body fat, have a look at your inches, have a look at your progress photos. And if you feel like you're not making progress in any area, then they said we need to have a deeper dive and have a look at your program, your nutrition, and see, okay, what needs to change here, because obviously it's not getting you the desired effect. But a lot of it, I feel like, just comes down to
here's what I would say, right?
and
awareness. See the fact that like these people struggle with like weight loss, for talk's sake, like they're starting to have an issue with the result on the scales, right? So the type of person that needs to lose weight is probably somebody who struggles with nutrition anyway. All right, fair enough to say. People who are overweight and are therefore trying to get weight loss results are going to struggle adhering to a diet. Fair enough, right? Most people don't have a balanced nutrition strategy, because for me, I think tasty dieting is really only starting to take surface now in the last 5 years, because before that was really just boring, bland ass salads and foods, which is really, really hard to stick. So most women aren't going to get a positive, clear result for about 4 weeks because of their cycle. So they have to go through 4 weeks of pretty much not knowing. For some women, they're not going to really know, because their cycle could be really like cause massive fluctuations for whatever reasons hormonally. But that doesn't mean that the weight loss, the fat loss underneath the surface,
as much as 2 to 5 pounds.
Yeah. And so to say to them, that means that you have to get your diet in faith on track for 4 weeks straight, and then tell me it's like, okay, that was actually, you know, pretty damn near perfect. And so to get that is like without being thrown off by fluctuations in weigh-ins from week to week. It's like obviously you've got a little bit more of an uphill battle to work with there.
The tactical error that these people make is that they're not collecting enough data. They don't have enough data. They've got sporadic data, maybe once a week. And again, this is something I've been emphasis to kind of really tell clients when I'm onboarding them, kind of with our consultations, that kind of stuff, is like, Monday traditionally is International Weigh-In Day. We used to do Monday weigh-ins, Slimming World, you know, all this most popular day to weigh-in is Monday. Everyone, you know, International Weigh-In Day, Monday. But it's actually, if you think about it, it's actually the worst day of the week to weigh in. Okay, if you weigh in on Mondays, the weekend is when most people are likely to have social events, alcohol takeaways, processed foods, etc. This is so your weight is most likely to be fluctuated on Monday due to water weight and kind of say your actions and behaviors over the weekend. Okay, fair enough. Everyone struggles over the weekend, or it's at least harder relative to during the week when we're in a better routine. So it's much better, I think, then, if you're looking to see progress, is to weigh yourself every Friday. So this is kind of, we've moved towards a Monday and Friday kind of weigh-in cycle. So if you weigh in on Friday, you get to see what kind of progress you've made after, say, 5 good days in a row. On the Friday now, you've seen that I've lost 2 pounds. Now I'm much more motivated over the weekend to keep it up, because now psychologically, I think it was the Harvard study show that, you know, progress equals motivation. I can see that it's working. When I can see the progress, I'm much more likely to keep it up. If I said, Chris, I'll give you €100 if you lose 2 pounds this week, you're like, okay, that's kind of motivating. Whereas I said, Chris, if you don't lose 2 pounds, you have to give me €100. So you're much more likely to, you know, to act in a way that protects what you already have. So you already know going into the weekend that I've already lost 2 pounds. I don't want to fuck it up. I don't want to lose this. I want to maintain the results that I already have. And because you also see that the plan is working, you're much more motivated. Whereas a lot of people are doing is they lose a pound Monday to Friday, gain that pound Friday to Sunday. They never get to see the progress. They lose motivation over a couple of weeks. Yeah. And then, as I said, with the tactical error with the ladies make is because their weight can fluctuate so many times over the month, they're not collecting enough data to be able to sit back and look at their 3-month trend. Like for me, for example, like I've started weighing every day. Most days, you know, at least 3-4 days a week, 5 days a week usually, maybe not so much in the weekends, maybe just once over the weekends or whatever. But I am actually, to be fair, I am pretty decent. I would actually probably get about 6 days. But I've lost about 10 kilograms this week or this year using a daily weight kind of schedule, you know, and I use the Withings scale just to give them a little bit of a plug. And especially for any members, Withings integrates with the FineFit app, meaning that I can literally just stand on my scales in the bathroom. They're connected to Wi-Fi and they automatically update my app every day. So for them ladies, for ladies, you should be comparing, because of the menstruation cycle, Monday to Monday, Tuesday to Tuesday, or the first week of the cycle to the first week of the cycle, the second week of the cycle to the second week of the cycle, kind of really looking maybe more month to month, rather than say like week to week or day to day. Like you collect the data day to day, but you don't expect the weight to go down every day. So it's not necessarily the weigh-ins, it's the story we have about the weigh-ins.
The other side of it was one of the reasons maybe people say, and maybe why it's not bad advice to say, oh, don't check the weigh-in every day or every week, is because really what you should be focused on is the process. Absolutely nailing the process, because really, like I said, weighing in every day is not going to serve you any well if you're actually not doing the work. So the big thing is like, don't weigh in, but put your heart and soul into the work, and I mean that with your genuine best effort. No bullshit, no deviations, no snacks, and if there is snacks, that they're factored in snacks, but it's well planned out, methodical strategy, and you implement it with your heart and soul. We know it's going to work. This is a numbers game. We offer results guaranteed your money back for that very reason, because this isn't like, oh, I hope it works for you, fingers crossed. This is like, when you do this, we know it's going to work. The numbers are the numbers. It's like saying, you know, this is how much your electricity costs per unit. How many units did you use? That's your bill at the end of the month, you know. And so it's like, it's literally, it's numbers. It's not all this other stuff. And so if you can really nail in the process, fair enough, you weigh in every week, you're going to notice a big jump. But the problem is when your engagement with the process relies on a positive result, we start running into a bit of trouble.
And one thing I want to mention as well is that when people start a program like this, normally it's because they've been gaining weight for a while.
Yeah,
they've been gaining weight for a while, and then what they do is they do change. They make an improvement, and instead of going from a calorie surplus, they go to maintenance, and then they stop gaining weight, and they don't see that as progress as well. And I think that's important to keep in mind. So like if you have been gaining weight, you know, when you go from gaining weight to not gaining weight, that's a big plus. That's a big plus. We're not going backwards anymore.
You're actually this year you would have been up 6 kilos. You're actually same weight, so you're actually up 6. You're actually bonus 6
So you
kilos.
technically are making progress.
Yeah,
and you're fitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you built a better routine with exercise, you're drinking more water, your sleep might be better. Again, there is a lot of stuff outside of the weight loss that isn't. But again, at the end of the day, I kind of feel like our job as coaches is to meet people where they're at. The most important thing for most people is to lose weight and lose weight quickly, because it's creating a lot of pain in their life. So, you know, for in terms of like, you know, the 80-20 principle, like what are the core actions and behaviors you can focus on? People who weigh in more regularly lose more weight and keep the weight off longer because they're much more mindful, they're much more aware, they're much more conscious of how their actions and behavior day to day are affecting the number that they care about the most. It's not the thing I care about the most, it's the thing that you care about the most. So what I'm saying, like, look, we got to check this regularly. If this is how you're going to assess the program and assess your results and assess your experience, well then let's make sure that we're looking at this and we're looking at it regularly, because like nutrition obviously, you know, can be as complex as you make it, but at the end of the day, if you ask yourself before you ate every meal, and you ask yourself before you made any nutrition basis, if you just ask yourself, is this going to move me closer or further away from my goal? Intuitively, you're going to get it right 99% of the time. We all know, like, you know, we know what's healthy, we know what's unhealthy, we know when the portion is too big, we know when the portion is too small, we know if it's, you know, we can tell. But getting that feedback quickly, rather than, like, you know, what happened over COVID was people didn't weigh themselves in for 2 years, and I've talked to over 100 people that, you know, gained, you know, 1 to 3 stone, just from checking out and not being aware of the kind of the ostrich approach or the head in the sand approach. Doesn't work for most people, and that's just the reality. But that's what we've seen. Not only is that what the study suggests, that's what we've seen day to day working with clients. People who weigh themselves often, people who do this stuff regularly, are our best clients and are the people who get the best results. Like, it doesn't happen. Somebody does the 90-day program, weighs themselves at the start, forgets every week, but weighs themselves at the end. Like, oh my God, I lost 2 stone. Never happened. Never once. Probably will never happen.
And why did people gain weight during COVID? Because, you know, it's like that's the biggest issues for most people is just that we use food or alcohol to soothe and for boredom. And that just increased dramatically over COVID. It's like, it's not the people, you know, it's not necessarily that everybody had the hardest time in the world during COVID, even though some people did. It's literally just the fact is like, well, when you're bored, what do you do? And again, not what do you do, everybody, you know, because not everybody does it. Some people thrived under these circumstances, some people didn't, and that's not a judgment call, it's just what happened. And so it's like, right, well, what do you do when you're bored? Well, if you've gained a lot of weight, it's a good chance to eat and drink, and maybe both. And then again, if you really did struggle during COVID and you're locked down, you know, what do you do when you're isolated? It's like maybe you eat and you drink, and that's kind of the problem. And an awful lot of the kind of research that I've been doing lately in the books that I've been listening to, it doesn't necessarily even matter so much. And we kind of touched on this a little bit with, you know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You know, when our needs aren't met, and as a person, you know, we're struggling either emotionally or physically or for whatever reason, you know, we're not our best selves, and we can't perform as our best selves until we meet those needs. And some people are traumatized from a very young age. And I know I've been talking to Chris a little bit about this, about, you know, people who generally, like, who are these overweight people, these people with like self-esteem issues, maybe, that let themselves get very, you know, they let their standard for themselves slip and are struggling and battling with it, and they want it to be better, but they feel helpless. And so these people are generally traumatized and have, you know, some issues that need resolved. And generally speaking, that's what the issue is. And it's not actually the food, it's actually this underlying issue. And we can keep saying nutrition, but if you keep having this need to self-soothe and food is your vice, well, then it's not until we fix that issue that you're having, and you know, not when I say we, I mean them, and maybe with some professional counseling, you know, maybe that's the route you need to go down to kind of work this, because maybe we could give you the best diet plan and the best this and the best that, but you still need your vice, because that's how you soothe yourself.
You're still in pain.
Yeah, 100%. Right, cool, guys. Well, we're definitely over time for today, but again, great to have the three of us on a podcast. First time in a long time. Said it's going to be happening every single week. So if you like the podcast, make sure to like, share, send it to your friends, give us questions and feedback. You know, feel free to send us a message. We are open books. We're very, very happy to help people, client or not a client. You know, no such thing as a silly question. We will definitely help you in any possible way we can. But again, thanks for listening, lads. Thanks for joining me, and we will see you next week.
Peace.